Hi to everyone. MEM School of Engineering, Department of Mechatronics Engineering, online classes. Subject Automotive Electronics. Unit number 1, chapter number 4. So last class we discussed with the alternators and the charging systems. Okay, that means the main requirement of the charging. Where we have battery in the car. So how to charge a battery in the different ways. So what are the limitations and applications of the charging system like that we discussed. Next, we discussed with the alternators. So we saw that different types of alternators used in the different years and applications and uh, internal circuit diagram like that we discussed in the last chapter. So in this chapter, we are going to see about the starting system of the vehicle. Mainly, we are using the car. Okay, so when we put the key in the car will be stopped. How the total unit, total closed loop circuit, how it is executed. So like that, we are going to discuss in this chapter. The starting system include the battery, starter motor, solenoid, ignition switch, and in some cases, or starter delay. Starter relay. Okay. So in this circuit, we are using neutral safety switch, that is inhibitor, like that we discussed. That is defined. That is called a neutral safety. So that is when car is in the new gear mode, the key will not be work. Okay, this is a basic one of the um, best thing in the car. Okay, when car in the gear, it will not be work. When it will go to the neutral, then only the car will be start. This is the basic concept. So this is the basic diagram for the starting system. So in this system, we have ignition switch, starter relay, a neutral safety switch, starter solenoid, starter motor, and battery. Okay, using ignition switch, we are give the power supply to the starter motor. So this starter motor will initially give the rotation to the engine, because when in engine, first the rotor will be rotate for the initial rotation. So that only we are using the starter motor and solenoid. Solenoid will give the power, because we are getting battery power supply will be plus 12 volt only, plus 12 volt or plus 24 volt. Okay, using this voltage, we need to uh, start the starter motor. So when we are using the solenoid bulb, it is having more number of coils. Okay, so that starter motor will enable the, that is rotate the engine rotor. Okay, then only the engine will be start. So let's see the video. So that is working condition of the starter. This is the model. Okay, so these two conditions are that is, this one is solenoid, so this one is starter motor. Okay, that is pinion. So this, when starter motor is enabled, this pinion connected with the, so direct to the rotor of the process. This is the motor, starter motor. This is battery. Solenoid valve. Okay, so when engine started, it will connected to the motor. Okay, this is the concept. So this is the connection between the engine rotor and starter motor. So these are the process. This is the basic model of the circuit. Okay. So next, starting system definition and the main components that is enabled to crank the internal combustion engine. Enable to crank the internal combustion engine. The main components are battery, ignition key, flywheel. So that is starter solenoid, electric motor, overrunning clutch, pinion. Then electric cabling, that is command circuit and power circuit. These are the main components between the input and the output side. So starter fuse. So use of the starter fuse. It is protect against over currents in the control circuit. Power circuit is unfused. Okay. Next starter relay to connect the starter solenoid. Then reduce the control current at the IG switch. Neutral or clutch safety switch. So automatic transmission, that is signals neutral or park position. Next manual transmission, signal clutch and actuation. These are the main requirements of the starting system. When the starting system is working in the proper condition, we needed this kind of requirements. One is support high currents. The battery, wiring, connectors, relays, switches, brushes, commutator, stator, rotor winding. The starter current draw of typically 100 to 200 ampere for the few seconds. Okay. So next, peak currents of typically so greater than of 500 amp in the few hundred, sorry, in a several amp. Okay. Then adequate power and torque to support. So engine plus other loads, we will define the adequate power and the torque to the condition. So next one is friction, then height, durability and reliability. User perspective, no need to replace the starter motor for the vehicle's lifetime. So typically 15 to 20 years and 150 to 300,000, sorry, 300,000 kilometer lifetime. So that startup system was much high standard. So compact size, less weight, or no, that is silent and low cost. So these are the basic starting system of the main components. Okay. So let's see the working of motor. Simply see the video. It will work in the basic concept. Once the motor is enabled, the solenoid valve will connect the stator motor to the engine flywheel. Okay, that's the main concept of solenoid valve. The internal gears are used for the rotation of engine flywheel. One is sun, another one is ring, carrier. These are the rollers, out races, inner race. Okay. So these are the main concept of starting system. Without efficient in the starting system, we have to use more process. Okay. Okay, thank you. We'll see in the next class.